The date was May 27, 2016. The day had finally come after 13 long yet quick years passed me by. Those years were filled with countless memories of my time spent at Lehighton Area School District. As we proceeded into graduation, for the final time we'd all be together as a class before stepping off this common path and going our separate directions. I took in each and every moment of my final memories of being a young grade school student. For in a few short months, I would be on my own, experiencing life without my best friends who had everything to do with helping me become the person I am today. Throughout my time spent in high school, I had the unconditional support of my sister and two loving parents. Throughout these years, my sister and I always knew what was expected of us and complied to these expectations. In result, my mom and dad always tried their best to give us everything we wanted within reason and very rarely said no. After graduation concluded, the members of the graduating class attended the all-night party. We ate delicious food, watched young pictures of ourselves slide through a slideshow, and danced until the sun came back up. After 5 a.m. rolled around, I got in my car and drove 15 minutes to my house where I planned to fall right asleep. I pulled up my driveway and parked. I stepped outside my car and walked up the walkway to my back door. I put my hand on the doorknob, and just as I was turning it, I heard a weak and faint meow. Being that I never had a pet growing up, I immediately shut the door and peered out the tiny window. As I looked down, I saw the tiniest orange kitten clawing on the screen door. I watched the kitten for about 5 minutes before going up to my room and falling asleep. When I woke up the next morning, I went down to the kitchen only to hear a loud thud. I looked out the door to find the orange kitten on the ground. As I continued to watch, the kitten began to climb up the screen door, sticking his claws in the screen mesh. I started to think that maybe this kitten wasn't going to go away. The kitten finally made its way to my front yard, where it began to explore under the pool deck, under the porch, and in the dirt. As the hours passed, I found myself falling in love with this little ball of fur. My sister began to play with the kitten just as much as I did. At first, we were unsure if the kitten was a boy or girl, so we chose a name that fit both, Charlie. My sister and I began to fall in love with Charlie and wanted to ask our parents if the little guy could come inside and be our pet forever. To our dismay, my mom and dad agreed that there was no way the kitten was coming inside. Being that no one in my family could be considered an animal lover, my sister and I attempted to show our parents the same qualities about Charlie that stole our hearts. After a few hours of playing outside on the porch with Charlie, my parents agreed to take Charlie to the vet. While at the vet, Charlie was tested for feline leukemia. The veterinarian said if the test came back positive, that they recommend Charlie be put to sleep. My mom and I waited 10 agonizing minutes for the test to come back. Meanwhile, Charlie ran all around the tiny room as if he had all the energy in the world. We discovered that Charlie was indeed a boy in the meantime. After 10 minutes passed, the vet finally came back in and told us that Charlie did not have feline leukemia. After we heard the good news, my mom and I broke into tears, and I knew that if I could convince my dad, Charlie was going to be allowed inside our home. It turns out that I didn't have to do the convincing. That was all Charlie. Charlie entered our house on June 1st. The days following my graduation consisted of me reflecting on a period of my life that I thought would last forever. But the reality is that time passes much more quickly than any of us could ever imagine. Before Charlie, I never knew how much love my heart was capable of for an animal. I guess throughout life, you never really stop growing as a person and acquiring new tastes and interests. Every day, you learn something new about yourself despite how old you are. Now that Charlie has lived with us for 6 months, he has many favorite hobbies. When he's not eating, sleeping, or playing, he's going for car rides. laying in the bathtub, attempting to eat the butter, becoming a grandfather cat, or checking out the spices. He visits everyone in my family in our bedrooms throughout different times of the day and is truly the best cat anyone could ask for. Not that we did ask for him, because he was a blessing that none of us saw coming, but now can't imagine our lives without. Charlie jumped into our lives just as he jumps onto my mom to reach the top of our fridge. This cat is something special, and I knew it from the initial moment I met him.